I mean, excited about the extension they gave me yesterday. Obviously, we've done pretty well here in year two, and my family's grown to really like the area. I like it. Great people to work with here. You know, thank Greg Byrne. He's been unbelievable to work with. But everybody from Chancellor down to Dr. Bell. I think they're just really good people that get what it needs to succeed. Obviously, they've been succeeding at a high level across the street in football for a while, so we're trying to get the basketball program up, and I think it shows a commitment to what needs to happen to get this thing up to where they want it. I think we've made pretty good strides in 2 years and plan on being here a long time. So that was good. Now it's kind of off the plate. Don't have to worry about it, talk about it. Moving forward, all we're thinking about is what we got to do to win the next game. We've got Vanderbilt coming in. I personally think Coach Stackhouse doing one of the better jobs in the league. I've always liked watching what they run against other teams' defense. I think he does a really good job. They play very similar to us in that the floor's spread. They've got shooting bigs. They've got a lot of NBA actions. Way too many to go through in a walkthrough or a practice. So you got to be really locked into some concepts. But they're a good team, and they've been. Their record's not great, but they've been in a lot of games, and it's kind of like that deal. Like they're right there, and they just got to get over the hump. And they shoot a lot of threes. If we let them get a lot of threes off, we're gonna be in some trouble. So our guys need to be locked in. We've got senior night. Senior day, I guess it's a noon tip, but senior day tomorrow, which will be special for this group of seniors. It's you think back to when Herb and Petty and Reese came in, that was a pretty highly rated class that came in. Now, these three guys are still with them. You add in, we added Bruner with them. Then we've got 3 walk-ons. Tyler's been here the whole time. BJ's graduating this year, and then Kendall came this year. So there's 7 of them. It's a special night, special day for those guys, and we're getting close to where we can clinch the SEC. So I think we're 2 wins away from clinching a share if we don't get any help from anybody else. So there's a lot on the table, and we addressed the fact that we haven't particularly played great at these 11 o'clock noon tips. So we've got to adjust and do a better job ourselves. But it's an exciting week, exciting times. We're looking forward to playing the game and understand the ramifications of how this affects us being able to win a regular season championship and the seeding and everything that goes with it.
Thank you, Coach. This time we'll go ahead and take questions. As a reminder, use the raise hand function, and we'll get your questions. Let's start with Mike Rodak.
Yeah, Nate. Greg, in his statement yesterday, mentioned some of the buyout measures and how that reflected a long-term commitment from both sides. Just what was the process like for you in deciding to make that commitment on your end?
Yeah, I want to be here, so I don't really care what the buyout is for me to leave here. I mean, they're guaranteeing me a lot of money, so if they want to make me pay a lot to leave, I don't really care because I'm not planning on leaving. So they made them both high. So it shows their commitment to me. It shows, our commitment as a family to this university, this administration, this city, this state. We love it here. We want to be here a long time, and so you can put the buyout whatever you want. If I'm not leaving, it's not going to get paid. And shoot, I was a high school teacher, not making very much money 8 years ago, so I don't have any money to pay a buyout. So I haven't been making very much money for a long time. So there's no plans on me leaving here anytime soon.
Next, Cecil Hurt.
Hey, Coach. Looking at Vanderbilt, Pippen has sort of been a scoring threat, but Dessou has really picked up his scoring in the post to sort of give them an inside-outside game. How do you defend them?
Yeah, I mean, Pippen's the second leading scorer in the league. I mean, he's really good. He was good last year as a freshman, and he may be the most improved kid in the league. I mean, he's really playing at a high level. So, you've got to pay a lot of attention to him. Ball screens. I mean, he does everything. comes off ball screens, he shoots it at a high level, he gets in the paint. You know, he does a great job playing under control when he gets in the paint. He finds guys. His assist numbers are high. So he's obviously a huge focal point of their offense and really what makes them go. But I think Dessou's a pro. I mean, Coach Stackhouse played in the pros, coached in the pros. He'd give you a lot better read on that than me. He's got the kid every day in practice. But what I see on game film, you know, he's 6'9", 6'10", long, skilled, shoots it well, leads the league in rebounding. You know, he's really improved too, and he was good last year. So those two are tough, kind of inside out. And when I say inside, Dessou's a big, but he's not really playing inside all that often. You know, he's taking guys off the dribble and shooting it. So you've got to play, and they're able to play him at the 4 with his size, you know, because they've got pretty good interior play. They're a lot better team than they were last year, and they beat us last year. So between Pippen, Dessou, and they've had different leading scorers a lot here lately too. I mean, Maxwell Evans has gone for 29 in the game. Like they've got guys more than capable of scoring it, and they've got shooting all over the floor. You know, we typically have a shooters list up on the board. Well, I think we have 8 guys on that shooters list. You know, some games there'll be 2 or 3. So they shoot a lot of threes. They got a lot of guys that can make them, and they're going to spread us out and stretch us. And you know, Pippen and Dessou are right at the top of their attack, and Coach Stackhouse does a great job putting them in really good situations that make it hard to cover them. So our guys going to have to be locked in on the defensive end.
Charlie Potter.
Hey, Coach, I asked Tyler and Britton about this, but obviously you guys haven't had fans in the stadium, but the bench has been a little different and brought a lot of energy. Just what have you thought about the bench this year and how guys like Tyler and Britton have kind of contributed to that energy on the court?
I mean, those guys were great last year, but I think it's even more important this year without having very many fans in. But, you know, those guys bring energy to practice. They bring energy to walkthroughs. They bring energy to games. And that's what you want out of your walk-ons. Like, they got to come with a ton of energy. So, and you see, you know, they show pictures of those guys after Petty hits a 3 or who are the dunks, the deep, you know, all the stuff. They get fired up. They get excited. Like, it's what college sports is about, in my opinion. You know, kids that age showing emotion, getting fired up. That's why people love it. You know, they're into it. So, you know, we're going to miss both those guys a lot. But they've done a really good job kind of setting the tone for what a walk-on is supposed to do, how he's supposed to act, how he's supposed to practice, you know, how he's supposed to behave on the bench. They've set a great example for all the ones we've got coming up behind them. So, and then Kendall walked in here for his 1 year, and I think he's, you know, given us really good practice minutes. And, you know, when we've put him in a game, I think he's done well. And, you know, I'm happy for those 3 guys.
Tyler Martin, you're next.
Hey, Coach. I know how much you guys would have loved to have played Thursday, but how beneficial is it at this point in the season to really get, you know, a week-long break in between games?
You know, I would have liked to have played the game, to be honest. Like, I like to play. I think you like to test yourself against other guys. Our guys like to play. But having said that, knowing what the weather was like in Texas and knowing what the travel, I mean, we were going to have to fly into Houston, drive. The roads were maybe going to be a little iffy. When it got canceled, it was not the worst thing for us. Plus, Herb's still not 100%, gave him a game off, you know, to where he didn't have to play. You know, Bruner's still recovering. You know, if this game gets tacked on at the end, hopefully he's playing and close to 100% by then, where, you know, there's no chance he would have played, you know, during that game this week. So I think it gives us time to get healed up a little bit, kind of rejuvenates us. You know, there's not many programs in the country that haven't had a pause. So, and when they take those pauses, it's not as if the whole program's got COVID. You know, it's not like everybody's sick in bed with COVID. Like, a lot of those players had nothing wrong with them, but they had to take a pause for a few, and the other guys were able to kind of get rested a little bit. So this maybe gave us a chance to get a little bit of a rest, a little bit of re-energized, rejuvenated, and hopefully we come out and play like that tomorrow.
Let's go next to Tony Tsoukalas.
Nate, with you extending your contract to 2027, just where do you see the program being in 5 years? Is there a vision for that when you make those kind of long-term decisions?
I mean, I'd hope to say we're one of the top programs in the SEC on a year in, year out basis, challenging for SEC championships and, making the NCAA tournament's not a come down to the, selection Sunday on the bubble deal like we're in. It's more what seed are we getting? How high of a seed can we get? How deep of a run can we make in March? Like that's where I envision it in 5 years. I think we can. There's really nothing holding us back from being one of the better programs in the country. We're been top 10 in the country for a long time here this season. We're performing like a top 10 team. We're going to lose some seniors, so next year may be a little bit of a rebuild, but it may not. We may be able to get some guys coming up through that do great. That you kind of build the program. You've got guys that are here, for their second, third year, whatever it is, and you reload with some other guys. I think the resources are here at Alabama for us to be, performing at a high level within the SEC and within the country on a year in, year out basis. And I'm going to be pushing to make sure that happens every year. And so that'd be, right now they got us projected to be a 2 seed. 2 seed means, you're supposed to make a run to the Elite Eight if everybody, if all the higher seeds win. And it's as far as this program's gone, I'd like to kind of break through that barrier and make it past that and see what we can do. I think we've got the talent this year to do it, and I would hope that we're knocking on that door a few more years in the next 5 years.
Let's go to Mike Rodak.
Yeah, Nate, you mentioned it a second ago with the resources, but I think you mentioned in the open that this shows a commitment on their end to get the program to where it needs to be. Just from a facility standpoint, a resources standpoint, how much further does it have to go from this point?
Yeah, people have brought that up a lot. When Greg interviewed me, they had a plan, and they're still looking at it. He's obviously COVID's put a little bit of a damper in the Coleman plan, but I think Greg Burns still working. But I'll say this. The getting an updated new Coleman, that'll be great for you guys, for the fans, a little bit for us. But what we spend 80% of our time in, I think is the best in the country, or at the top. It's in the upper echelon. Like our practice gym, our weight room, our offices, the player lounge, the video room, all of that stuff. I've been in tons of high major places. When I was a high school coach, I used to go on all kinds of visits. I'd go, this is as good as any setup anywhere. So now when we go to play the games, would it be nicer to have the fans right on top? Would it be nicer for you fans, for all the fans out there, to have a little bit better amenities? Would it be great to have the student section right down on the floor? And and hopefully that gets done here soon. But really, when we're recruiting, which is the lifeblood of your program, you're playing a game and there's still 15,000 people that they can put in this arena, and it gets very loud and they get packed. Everything else that we're using is top notch. The new Sports Science Center, the fact that if you come through and tour our player lounge, where the training room, the player lounge, the video room, the kitchen, the practice gym, the weight room's right off the practice, it's what we need. So I don't think there's any facilities that are holding us back from winning at the level that we need to win at, if that makes sense.
Okay, we got last 2 questions here, with starting with Cecil Hurt.
Coach, I've got 2 quick follow-ups. First, are you sure you want to put Luke right down on the floor?
Listen, if Luke will stay and be like, I don't know, what's he graduating with his undergrad, maybe we can get him to do like a 4-year master's and then follow it up with a 4 or 5 year PhD. If we could get him right on the floor for the next 8-9 years, I think that'd be great. We'll keep him in a new sport coat, every couple of years or something. We'll keep the proper jackets on him and keep him in a good light around here. And I'd love it if Luke stuck around. I think he'd be great on the floor.
And the other follow-up, you just made a quick allusion to Jordan Bruner maybe being a little bit closer to being back.
He is. He would have been playing already. He had a little bit of a setback a few weeks ago, but he's back to where he's shooting this week, and he's been able to go through some drills, and I think we're going to have some guys warm up tomorrow, see how they feel, go through walkthrough tomorrow. But we were hoping like we could have him back by the Arkansas game. It's close. It's very close. He's been in a lot more drills in the last couple days in practice than up until this week, he hadn't been able to do anything outside of just some spot shooting, free throws, stationary ball handling. But they're ramping everything up now, so he's getting close to where he can be back, and it'd be great to get him back. I mean, he's playing great. I don't know that he'll come back playing at the same level as when he left, but he should still be pretty good, I would think.